My name is Jason Mariner, and I am still here to tell you the truth because the American memory is very short because big tech and the mainstream media controls the narrative. They control what you see, so when something bad is happening, they throw Britney Spears on the air. I'm not taking away from the abuse that she's experiencing, but as a country, we should really be focused on the fact that we're heading towards communism and World War III. Here's why. We forget things like Epstein didn't kill himself. We forget about all the kids who he sexually assaulted. We forget that the Clintons took all those flights to that creepy island with all those kids on it that he was sexually abusing. We forget things like the Clintons know just about everyone in existence that's depressed that winds up killing themselves. They also have one other thing in common. They speak out against the Clintons, and they blow the whistle. And then they blow their brains out with a rifle from 300 yards away and hurl themselves off a cliff. We need to remember things like Joe Biden has been in politics for 55 years, something like that. So I'm pretty close. And we need to remember that when he was in politics and still had the marbles rolling around in his brains clinking together, that he was the guy that said, no, I don't want my children going to school with black kids. That's bad. I'm against integration with the educational system. He was the racist. We need to remember all of this stuff. We need to remember that great civilizations, if you're ever studying history, tend to fizzle out around the quarter century mark, and here we are at year 250. We need to remember the fact that people that really want freedom, that protest, like they do in Cuba, they're holding up the American flag and protesting and being killed for it, imprisoned and beaten for it. They're not burning down their own neighborhoods because what they're really after is freedom. We need to recognize the fact that the lunatics here that protest in the name of social justice, that are burning down their own buildings and own neighborhoods, they don't want anything other than to cause trouble and to get a few free flat screen TVs out of the Target that they're destroying. We need to remember that Target says, hey, you know what, even though you burnt down our stores, we're going to give you money and fund you. We need to remember that Joe Biden hired Kamala Harris to be his vice president because she's black and a female. That makes him a racist and a misogynist. Sorry to break it to you folks, but hiring someone because they're black makes you a racist. Racism is judging someone based on the color of their skin, not based upon their merits, their moral turpitude, or the content of their heart. That's the definition of racism. When they say that bill that they're trying to pass in Texas, the voter reform bill, is racist, and they call you a racist for saying, yeah, we want that, you're not the racist. They are. Ask them to prove why that makes you a racist. They won't be able to. You can prove that they're racist because what they're saying in saying that you're racist and the bill's racist, that black people can't get an ID, stand in line, be at a certain place at a certain time, be a United States citizen. They don't have their shit together enough to do those things. That's racist. Being a Republican doesn't make you racist. What makes you racist is being Ibram X. Kendi writing a book on racism and how to cure racism. And in the book saying, hey, I hate white people, they're the devil. And then when asked, hey, what's racism? He says racism is racism, defined by racist stuff in a collectively racist society amongst racist other stuff. Nope, wrong. I asked my 5-year-old, what's racism? He said, not liking someone because of the way they looked. Nailed it, and he's 5. The leading expert on racism, the guy that wrote the book that the entire U.S. Navy is supposed to read, couldn't think about what racism was. He didn't figure out that maybe he would be asked by somebody one day, hey, you wrote a book about racism. How do you define racism? That's like me writing a book on tables and someone says, Jason, what's a table? And I say, well, a table's a table because it's a table. And tables are tables. And there's other tables too. No. If you've ever been to school, you know that you can't define a word using the word. If you want to define a table, you say something along the lines of it's a flat surface with maybe 4 legs or some sort of support system that you can put things on. Or if I write a book on chairs, and someone says, Jason, what's a chair? I can't just say, well, a chair is a chair, and there's other chairs too to prove it. No. A chair is something with maybe 4 legs or a pedestal and a back that you can sit on. That's what a chair is. A chair isn't a chair because there's other chairs. Racism is not racism because there's racism around other racist stuff. Don't forget, the people that say that you're racist, they're the racists. When they say President Trump was racist, he wasn't. He did more for the black and minority communities of this country than any president in history. When they say he was a bad guy, he was a murderer, I don't know where that comes from, but he brokered unprecedented peace deals in the Middle East, and he was the first president in a very long time that kept us out of a war. That's what he did. That was so bad. He made the economy great. And then we had something horrible happen. The Kung Flu came along. And then when I started talking about it, they said, don't say that, racist Republican, or we'll shut you down forever. And I said, so what? Because it's not a word that I said. It's just an acronym. But anyway, I'll say Kung Flu. And then I'll remind you that the people that are in dereliction of duty, the ones that are supposed to be passing that bill, or not passing the bill in Texas, that are on that plane, that are for the new Green Deal, creating a large carbon footprint by flying that plane, wasting $100,000 on that plane when they should maybe be putting it towards the Green New Deal or something good, like helping the black community, instead of riding on a plane with no face diapers, drinking Miller Lite. They're the ones that are lying to you. They're the racists. They're the ones that are in dereliction of duty. They're the ones that are lying to you. They're not going to Washington to stop the filibuster. The filibuster protects the Democratic minority in states like Texas. And no, not minority because of the color of their skin, minority because in Texas, they're outnumbered by Republicans, making them the political minority. Why would they go there to stop it? They're going there to avoid having to pass this bill because they know it's going to be passed because it's not racist. And there's no evidence of it being racist. And it's a common sense law. Government's there to produce and pass common sense law. I'm here to remind you that Facebook controls the world because when they can control the narrative and get you to change your mind when you do something like vote for president by covering up information like this family is a bunch of criminals and crooks and this guy doesn't have a marble left in his skull, you change your mind and you vote for him because they hide that information. And then when he's there and you find out that like a very large percentage of his voters wouldn't have voted for him if they hadn't hidden that information. So when you control the narrative and the vote in the most powerful country in the world, you control the world. I didn't vote for Zuckerberg, Bezos, Dorsey, or any of these other jackasses to be my president. They're not. They're leading us towards the Second Revolution and World War III. I don't know what's going to come first, but one of the two is going to happen if things don't change quickly and drastically. So remember that stuff. Remember that your government is spying on you. Remember that they're allowing China to become the dominant world power. Remember that all these social justice warriors, like the black Q-tip, doesn't make me racist, because we're even here. Look, I'm a white hot dog, right? He just looks like a black Q-tip. Whatever. So what? It's funny. Joke. Laugh. Kamala Harris does it a lot. Kamala, why haven't you been to the border? There's a humanitarian crisis that you guys caused. Lester, I haven't been to Europe either. What's your point? I don't get it. Of course you don't get it, because you're an idiot. I'm done for the day. My name is Jason Mariner, telling you the truth, breaking down that wall of lies, and pissing a lot of the wrong people off, but I don't care. Because I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for liberty, justice, and freedom. I'm fighting for the Constitution. Remember, no nation sits secure. America is not the ground on which you stand. It's the Constitution. It's your unalienable rights to pursue life, liberty, and happiness, all of which are supported and protected and defined by the United States Constitution. Not part of it, not pieces of it, not the organic, living, breathing version of it, but the Constitution. Joe Biden's not a leader. He can't think. He goes to bed at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My kids go to bed later than he does. Anyway, again, I'm done. God bless you, your families, the Constitution. I will be back, even though they're going to ban me, shadow ban, whatever they do. And I won't die because of it. If I die, it's because they assassinated me. But hey, what can we do? If our founding fathers were afraid of stuff like that, we wouldn't have what we have now anyway. So, if we don't fight back, if we don't speak out, it's going to be communism. One last fun fact that I'll leave you with is that communism has killed more people globally than anything else in the history of civilizations. So beware. God bless what's left of America. God bless you. I'm your host, Jason Mariner at RealRepublicanNews.com.